Peg City Soundoff. This is Summerfest week. Holy shit. I can't believe it. We were just talking before we went live that I remember when it was 6 months ago, and I thought I have so much stuff to do. And now I have so much stuff to do. And this is a good week. After tonight's show, there's going to be an announcement for what's happening the rest of the week. There's some stuff going on with Summerfest. There's some stuff going on with Punkfest, as I am sponsoring Punkfest as well. So Thomas has been working hard to make sure things are going smooth while I do some of the background stuff in the meantime. But Thomas has been killing it. We all know Thomas. He's been doing a bunch of shows. He lined one up, which is where we are tonight, with two members of Omerta. But unfortunately, fortunately, still good news. We got Dale though. Dale's on.
We got a third of the band.
Dale, this is your third go on the Peg City Soundoff. Third?
Yeah, I'm thinking about just moving in, throw a blanket down.
Yeah. He's working his way to his green jacket. And
a few more times, couple more times.
2 more times, yeah. I got to make the green jackets eventually.
That's right.
But it is Summerfest week. I'm so excited. I'm only here for a few minutes. I may sit in and listen to this because I'm very excited to hear what's going on in the Omerta world and with Dale. And but here we are. Like I say, 1 week out. Tune into Power 97 tonight. I was on there the other day, did some recording, and talked about Summerfest, kind of how it came about and what it means, and there's a bunch of other stuff that's just filler that no one wants to hear. But Thomas, take it away. We don't have a sponsor this month, I don't think. No, I don't have a sponsor this month, so we're rocking the Peg City logo. But Thomas, Dale, you guys take it away. Let's hear what's going on.
Well, thanks very much, Joel. I appreciate it. And also celebrating not only Summerfest, but 700 followers, I believe, on the Facebook page I saw too. So that was a big one as well. Very happy about that. We don't have a sponsor for the month, but we do have a sponsor for this episode. You can see behind me here, First Row Collectibles on Main Street. So that's 1835 Main Street. And they are a sponsor that jumped on really quick without hesitation for Summerfest as soon as we asked them. The owner over there, Curtis Townsend, a great guy. If you've seen him at local shows, whether he's at the show with a ticket or he's working security over there, he owns First Row Collectibles. He kind of does it all. He's done movies, he's done professional wrestling, he does professional wrestling. So just wanted to give a shout out to First Row Collectibles for sponsoring Summerfest there. And Dale, thanks for joining us. How you doing?
Awesome. Thanks a lot for having me and accommodating the last minute shift in personnel.
Yeah, no worries. I think we'll make it work. Shout out to Scott. I hope he's doing all right there.
Yeah.
I will say again, 700. It's a special episode, 700 followers. So good to have you on. This is your third time, as you said, joining the podcast. Your first time with me hosting. So happy to have you here.
Yeah, happy to be here. I always love jumping on with you guys and catching up, and usually it's in person too, so we get to see each other all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. So I saw this morning, today actually marks a special day for Omerta another way too. Today is the 6-year anniversary of the EP show. It was a Goodwill Social Club out in 2019 there. I think it was April or it was early 2019. That was an amazing show. So really cool to do an interview on the same day there.
Yeah, cool how it lines up the cosmic coincidences.
Absolutely. What do you remember about that show? A lot of changes have happened since then. What do you remember about that EP or that album release? Sorry.
I remember trying to figure out how I was supposed to play 2 guitars at once and how we were supposed to have guest musicians come up and leave and not kick the pot lights that were set up. And I remember a lot of the logistics and a lot of the last minute, we had, all these grand, well-rehearsed plans that, okay, now we actually have to make this happen. So, but that was a really special show, of course, first album, celebrating that release, and an album that, I think really resonated with a lot of people in a very special way that we didn't ever foresee. That's a day that I think we all think about a lot still.
I definitely do. I remember that being one of the best Omerta shows that I've been to for sure.
Oh, nice.
And it's been a long time since you guys have played now. So your last show, unless I'm remembering, there was another one. Last show would have been at the Tap House May of last year. I think you
Yep.
played with Moonfield. You played with Y. It was a really good show out there.
Yep. Yeah,
What
that
what was
was.
the reason for? Oh, go ahead, sorry.
Well, I was gonna go on a diatribe, so it sounds like you had a question.
Well, I was just gonna say the hiatus. We're always happy to go on a diatribe here, but what was the reason for taking such a long break now from doing shows, releasing singles, really doing anything with Exomerta?
You know, the break is really made longer by the fact that it was kind of two breaks because we, of course, the whole world in a sense braked for COVID, which now seems, eons ago. Um, and then really kind of as things were starting to happen again was when we took on this new chapter, which was, recording another album, approaching it the same way that we did with album one, because a lot of the process is what led to the album that we ended up having. So throughout the pandemic, I mean, we did the singles thing. We were
Hmm.
recording remotely, we were mixing remotely, doing all of that on our own without truly knowing what we were doing at the time as well. Um, so once things started to open back up again and shows were like another opportunity, we we kind of quickly jumped on the train of deciding that we need to do what we did for the first album, which is hole ourselves in a cabin for a week. Whatever we write
Hmm.
in that week is the album that we record. And we had time rented, the day after that trip, to start recording. So either, whether we write nothing or we write something great, we have the time reserved and we have to start recording.
Yeah,
And so, anyways, it seems like that kind of pressure is what, we have just historically worked well under. So we put ourselves right back in that position. And again, unfortunately, the extended hiatus gets even more extended because now it's okay, this is a whole new record, a whole new sound, because going into it, we weren't quite sure what we would end up with, honestly.
yeah,
It could have gone a couple of different ways, but we're all really excited about where it went. And and again, that just means, we have to just have our ducks in a row beyond just having the music ready. We've always been a very visual band,
hmm,
on and off the stage. So all of that had to be refreshed, and we've come up with some new plans. And yeah, we're just coming back full tilt once we're ready to start talking about the release.
absolutely. And with your singles that you had been releasing, was that always the plan to kind of release them as singles? Because between about 2020 to about 2022, you released five, maybe six songs with End to End of the World all the way to Blood on Your Hands. Was that kind of the idea then? Just easier right now to release them as singles, not do a full album or even an EP?
Yeah, more or less. And a lot of it's, a product of the time that we were in too. Looking back on
Yeah.
that era, it's easy to get kind of blinded by hindsight. But a lot of artists, ourselves included, were just kind of racking our brains to figure out how we can stay stay active, and what we can do in that capacity. And it was like, okay, well, we can't record an album. We can't, go on tour. We can't do all these other
Yeah, that
things that we
especially.
that we had plans for around that time.
Yeah.
Um, and so the singles just, yeah, they ended up being kind of a logical, sensible thing to hold us over more than anything else during that time.
And how would you say how different is the process of that? So when you released the album in 2019, right before the concert you did right after that, kind of get all the songs out at once. You're getting different feedback, maybe on some of the more popular songs, or maybe someone's telling you this is my favorite song. How different is that than releasing, six songs over the course of 2 years?
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, it's very different. It puts things under a different microscope, I guess. So,
Mhm.
in doing the album, it felt so holistically great in that, it's this self-contained 38-minute statement that we're putting out to the world with a very specific look and a very specific sound, and everybody that likes it will make that known, and everybody who doesn't like it made it very known. But you kind of get to go, well, whatever, like this is what we are, and this
Yeah.
selection represents everything we are. Moving into the singles, you don't get to have that anymore. Instead, it's you know here's one version of what we can do, here's another version of what we can do. And as an artist, it's really easy to allow that to give you maybe too much freedom at times. There's a solid couple of albums worth of recorded music from back then that probably won't
Yeah.
see the light of day, and really they don't need to. So
Yeah.
doing another album is a great way to get your bearings and remind you of who you are.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Especially working on it all together like that. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
when was that decision made to do a full album this time around?
I mean, last year through the winter, so maybe from December, January on, December 23, January 24.
Okay.
Yeah, that's we just kind of had that talk at a rehearsal, and it just seemed like such an obvious choice. The way that it was one of those cool coincidences where all three of our lives were kind of lining up in a perfect way, and it was like, why don't we make an album? And we just, yeah, we essentially just took those months leading up to doing it to refine how it could be done and refine the timelines, because we were kind of going, okay, last time we did this, like, it wasn't just us. We had
Hmm.
producers and engineers, and this time just going out on our own and having studio time booked. It was
Yeah.
radically different, but it also, allowed us to really do exactly what we wanted to do. And I think we all are beyond excited about what we got out of that process.
Yeah, and it must be very different, I would imagine, with the experience you guys have now. That first album you guys kind of wrote close to when the band had started. I'm not sure exactly when you guys formed the band, but I know the first time I saw you was in 2018 in April, I think, opening for the Lazies and the Wild, if I remember correctly. It's a
Oh yeah,
great show at the Out in
Nashville.
Strathcona. Yeah, Nashville. There you go. That's what it's called. Yeah,
Yeah, that was a good
they changed the
show.
name. Yeah, that was an amazing show. You guys had just come off of winning a Battle of the Bands at the time. That's where you had earned the spot to open for that show. I mean, if you're in a
Yep.
Battle of the Bands now, you're probably judging it, not playing it these days, I would imagine. But yeah, tell me a little bit about the new album. I know that's what we're kind of talking about, but what was the process now with coming into it? Like you said, more working on your own, the three of you, and just the experience you now have as a band, and kind of being more
Yeah,
confident with it maybe. But
it was really just a super energizing experience. Like, just, we spent, I think, 5 days out at the cabin writing, which was, we had a really elaborate setup out there with, everything mic'd live and always recording. So
yeah,
I just had my laptop there and some mix monitors, and everything was just running all the time. So we captured every note that was played for 5 days. And um, I think there was 3 or 4 songs that Scott had fully written just on an acoustic guitar. And, over a period of weeks leading up to this, he showed us these songs. And so the
okay,
3 or 4 that I'm referring to, we took and we just kind of approached it as, all right, like, we all love this as a song. So now, if I were playing guitar to it, what would I play? If Spencer played the bass. So it was really a matter of taking a few of these songs that laid down kind of the blueprint and going, within, I think the first one took us maybe an hour to write the entire song. And it was from there, it was just a very automatic process. You know, anybody plays
Nice.
one note and everyone goes, "Oh, I know what this is gonna be." And yeah, so very, like I said, very just enriching and energizing way to do things. And being out there, you know, all day and all night with nobody else
Hmm.
for miles around. I mean, we got to really hone them in, you know, layering up vocals until the wee hours of the morning, and you know, deciding on you know, like how guitars are going to be recorded, how drums are going to be recorded and
Yeah.
arranged, and really just it really allowed us to go record it for real, and it was just effortless, and yep, that is exactly how we all thought it would sound.
That's awesome. Well, I'm getting excited already. So, do you know when? Do you have any idea of when things are going to be released, or are you going to be releasing singles to start out, or?
We're gonna drop a little surprise on everybody ahead of we're gonna go back and play. We have another show at the end of August, and leading up to that, we're gonna drop a really cool surprise on everybody that I'm sure, if I'll just say this, everyone's been asking for it for a really long time, so I'm pretty
Oh,
sure for
wow.
most people that spoils it already. and
Yeah.
and so that's going to be just our way of saying we're back for real now.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
that is big news. So I think I might know what that might be, but we'll leave that for now.
yeah, you
But
definitely would know.
so with the new album, this is another thing. So I think you might have kind of already answered this, but is this new album going to have any of the songs that you were playing in 2003, maybe yeah, a little bit in 2004 that haven't been released? So there's songs like, is it 2005? I think it's called, or something like that. There's I Get Money, I think, or
Yeah, you
I
know
don't
what?
remember the titles because they're unreleased here, but I remember hearing them live.
That's really impressive. Thank you for, yeah. I This album, we do have a plan for those songs because they have been
Okay.
there. Those are all recorded. We had a plan that didn't work out. Those are gonna
Oh,
happen.
okay.
But we have a really cool friend of ours is actually helping us out with making those ones happen. Because in the meantime, you know, we're all focused on this album. So we've got
Yeah.
essentially, yeah, you know what? We ended up with this collection of 11 songs out of this 1 week of this cabin production adventure. And it took, I'm glad that you actually touch on this because we had a lot of back and forth about what to include. You
Hmm.
know, we'd been playing those songs live for quite a while at that point.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
we all love those songs and have wanted them out, you know, since we recorded them basically. But we have to be, you know, a little realistic with our timelines and such. So anyhow, we ended up with this brand new collection of 11 songs, and those are going one way and being done in a certain
Hmm.
corner, and somebody else has the rest of those songs and is in another
Okay.
corner, and they will all finally exist.
Awesome. Well, that is great news. So you got a lot coming up then. A lot
Yeah,
coming
more than I'm letting on, actually.
up. I'm hearing
That's
double
great.
albums in the future here, but
Exactly.
yeah, absolutely. Well, that it sounds very exciting, definitely.
Hmm.
So, what was the deciding factor in coming back for Summerfest? So, like we said earlier, you guys have been going for a long time. You're certainly no strangers to festivals. You've done Toberfest. I think you've done the Rainbow Trout, if I'm not mistaken. A couple others I'm not thinking of. But what was the decision to come back at not do your own show to come back at Summerfest? Summerfest with multiple bands.
Yeah, well, you know what? I kind of had a conversation with the guys around the time that I first started hearing about Summerfest, and introducing them to the music of a lot of the bands on the bill for Saturday that, you know, they hadn't been introduced to yet, or maybe a couple of us had, but the other guy wasn't, kind of thing. And we had a really good conversation about what you guys have been doing, and just in the sense that, again, going back to the fact that, you know, the pandemic happened and it shut everything down for so long. and it took everybody so long to try to kind of get their bearings again, that you
Yeah.
guys sort of built up a scene without everybody, all being all stage ready or anything yet. And I kind of said, this is a really good chance to go get in and play with all of these bands that weren't in the scene when we were, that are all kicking so
Yeah.
much ass, and be a part of this bigger thing for the Peg City Soundoff as a collective.
Yeah, definitely. And you'll be one of the, I don't know how many we have, 2 or 3, maybe 4 people who are going to be hitting the stage more than once that night. So you'll be one of the Iron Men of the evening there. We got Eric Isfeld, I know.
Yep.
Mhm.
I think the drummer from Ballynarrow and 5 More Miles, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
got a few people doing
Who
that.
else? There's someone else, isn't there? Stale?
I think there is, and am I forgetting? I think
Gotta
there's
be
Eric?
more
more.
people.
There's a few Iron Men up
Yeah.
that night.
Yeah. Who knows? If anyone gets lucky, maybe Ron will jump up and do a song with them quick. You never know.
I mean,
Nudge, nudge.
I mean, there's a drummer, a guitarist, and a bass player going twice. So you guys could form a
There you
little
go.
3-piece, and you could go a third time.
Easy.
There you go. You can play
Love it.
the closing time song at the end of the night.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome.
Thomas, I'm gonna interrupt you guys for a sec. Dale, I don't think I've ever told you the story of my first time with Omerta. I don't think I ever told you this. If I did, I apologize. But the first time I ever actually heard the band, it was really, I believe it was Evan that told me about you. And this was very, this is your first album that came out, right? And I had my band at the time. We were a little 3-piece like acoustic trio, and then our drummer, who's with Valley Narrow, he had filled in for the show, and we were going to this little festival. It was like a coach birding festival, if I'm being honest. There's a little Filipino food truck, which was amazing. But there was this coach birding festival, and basically bands would play, and someone would throw a coach on a fire. And there's all these coaches there, and you get this heat wave coming
Nice.
at you. So that was the Coach Birding Festival. It was just outside the city, like by Tinkertown, outside the city. So you know what I mean. Still kind of in the
There
city.
you go.
But when I was driving out there, I remembered I was told about this band that I had to listen to, and I put it on. And after that, I was like, "This is going to be the best band that comes out of Winnipeg since." Whoever I was thinking at the time, the Watchmen or something, right? But I said this is gonna be the best band that comes over there. And by the time I got through the album and got to Wait On, I was like
Yeah.
sold. Like this is the band. And I've always loved going back and listening to that. And then I really wasn't too into the music scene. Like you asked me 5 bands back then, I probably couldn't tell you, right? But I always wondered until basically I met you. I always wondered what happened with them. I really wasn't really wasn't hearing anything, right? And I am so happy to have to have met you, and you've joined the Royals. And I've told the story so many times that my history with them, going back to the Autopilots playing my first wedding social,
Yeah.
and just this craziness. And I'm so happy that you're part of that group, and that you're going strong with Exomerda again. And I'm so happy to have you do the return at Summerfest. Like, if it wasn't for Omens and Bloodshots, I would have had Ronnie Ladderbrooks return too. I would have killed it.
Yeah.
But he had
Yeah.
to play that show, that one off there.
You got his tap house return. That's
You
a good
got
one.
yeah.
Yeah.
You're coming back. So anyway, that's all. I just wanted to kind of give you. I didn't know if you ever
Oh
heard
man,
that
well
story about how my first time listening to you and being like, "Holy crap, this is
Yeah.
unbelievable."
that's so cool to hear that story, and and that means the world to hear, your excitement, because we're just as excited to be a part of something like this. So thank you
That
for
is awesome.
passing us on there.
Yeah. Well, if you listen to that album, especially in order, that'll do it. I mean, 10 out of 10 is still one of the best ways to open any local album that I've listened to. And then,
Love that.
like you said, Joel, when you get to Wait On, that might be honestly one of my favorite Ex Omerta songs if it's
Yeah.
not mine. My favorite. Wait On is outstanding. It stands out very different than a lot of the other ones. So
Thank you.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
that one
great
has
tune.
a special place in our hearts too.
You know
Yeah.
what? I mean, just because we're bringing it up, when you were writing that song, was there any debate about having that song on the album? Because it is really
Tons.
different than any of them, and most of those songs all not blend together, but they complement each other very well. They're very similar style, and then there's that right, kind of in the middle or right after the middle of it.
Yeah, you know what? That was one I distinctly remember how that got written, and it was, I mean, the bass riff that opens the song.
Hmm.
It was supposed to be double time. It was supposed to be. There's a song on that record called "Are You Ready for What's Coming?"
Yeah.
And I think at one point we were worried because "Wait On" before it was called "Wait On" was sounding too much like "Are You Ready for What's Coming?" They were both these blasting, face melting bass riff songs, and
Hmm.
somehow or another, our producer got us on a couch with acoustic guitars to prove to us that it was a ballad, and he won that debate, and I'm glad that
Wow.
he did.
Me too. Me too. Yeah. No, that's an amazing song, definitely. And
Thank
even
you.
again, through all the new songs that you've written, that you've released, that you haven't released, there's no song quite like it in the Omerta library. So
Yeah, yeah, it's true. It's true.
it's awesome. So we were talking earlier about kind of your tie-ins with the Northern Royals, and I mean, as long as I've known Omerta, they've kind of been tied in with the Royals. They played at your EP show. Obviously, you joined the band since then. I don't think you were part of the band at that time, right?
Right.
Yeah, I was a few years after that you joined, and they are one of the bands that was around back then or is still around, has been around for a long time. That I mean, they played Toberfest even, right? I mean, you guys played
Hmm.
Toberfest with them. I don't know if there's any other bands from the Toberfest lineup that would that even play, or if not, they're definitely not playing Summerfest. But I have to
Did
think about
Bloodshots
that.
play
But either
that?
way,
Bloodshots? They
did
were
they?
part of that,
I
weren't
can't
they?
remember. I think they did. I think they did
Yeah.
actually. Now that you
Yeah, I
say
think
that.
they were on that. Yeah.
Just thinking of it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I
But
was
yeah.
trying to remember all the bands. There were some great ones.
Yeah.
But what do you remember about that show? Because that was maybe one of the most unique. That and the EP might be the two most unique Ex Omerta shows that I have ever seen.
My favorite memory of that was I mean, I'm sure you remember. I think it was either the hottest or maybe the second hottest day of that year in
It was probably the
2018.
hottest. It was bad.
And so
In a
EXO
field with
in
no
our
shade.
yeah, Exomerta in our forward-thinking, visionary ways rolled up in black dress shirts with black dress pants and boots and overalls, and
Had the suspenders, yeah.
yeah, and Scott was playing later that night with Bright Righteous, his other band,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
I remember him falling violently ill after our set. I was really impressed while we were on stage because we were able to kind of give her, and we talked about it
Oh,
after.
it
We're like,
was.
oh man, like I didn't think I'd be able to move up here, but like it was okay. And then it starts
Yeah.
catching up with you and catching up with you, and yeah, I think, like I said, you know what, the thing that defines Toba Rock Fest in my head is still watching Scott get sick and try to slog it through another hour long set with another band later in the night.
Yeah, and they did have one of the longer sets, I think, too, or maybe
Yeah.
it was the same amount of time. But yeah, that was honestly unbelievable. I mean, at one point he just stopped playing the drums because he couldn't drum anymore and sing, and he just belted out the song, and it's
Yep.
still probably my
Just
favorite
got out
performance
from
of the
behind
song.
the kit, like, okay,
Yeah,
I'm not doing this right now.
like he's literally like sweating bullets. You can see him turning even paler than he normally would be. Like uh, it was unbelievable. But yeah, one of my.
Yeah.
I wish I had. I think someone might have had that recorded. I can't remember. I wish I had that recorded though, because unbelievable performance,
Yeah,
once in a
it
lifetime.
was.
Definitely, you can't recreate that. Nor
That's
should
right.
you.
It was a magical moment, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Well, I think we've gone over everything that I was expecting to go over here. Is there anything else you wanted to mention, or anything Exomerta's got coming up that we can mention other than you said there's a show coming up at the end of August? I was
Yeah,
unaware of that.
I'd love to just say, like, be on the lookout for new Omerta dates because they are coming down the pipeline, and we've got more music than we know what to do with. So we're gonna
Yeah,
start just pummeling your eardrums. Like I said, there's one coming in August for a single, and from there, it's
nice,
all hands on deck, and you won't stop hearing from us for quite some time, I'm sure. So, besides that,
awesome.
just want to say for myself and on behalf of the guys, again, thanks a ton for having us on and letting us be a part of Summerfest. The work that you guys have put in, the scene that you've reinvigorated, it's been really inspiring, and we're just eager to jump on and be a part of this.
Awesome. Well, appreciate it.
That's great. And Dale, this is when it was put together, and you'll hear it tonight if you listen to Power 97. As long as it's not edited out, I said
Yeah,
these are my favorite bands in Winnipeg. Like to even for my band to be able to, and I'm gonna speak for all my band, as Paul Jamie, our drummer, plays with 5 More Miles, who's played some big shows, and they're playing
yeah,
Shake of the Lake in Kenora. He's got a bunch of stuff going on, but for myself, who I haven't really played in that scene, that tap outside Stage Park Theater, Bulldog, that kind of scene there. But for my 2 other band members, with Desi and Eric, our vocalist and bass player, this is all brand new to them to be in this Winnipeg scene and doing this, and they are so excited to be playing with these great bands. And I've really talked up the bands, and of course we've played with a lot of them. Ledwin,
Mhm.
Sunbreather. Haven't played with Arsonist. I think it's about time we would have, but
they're always playing the same night you are.
I know that's the crazy thing, but like Ledwin, Pure
That's the
Entry,
Winnipeg music
5 More
scene.
Miles, just so many bands we've played with, and they're so excited to be able to play with these new bands, and the amount of respect for the bands that are going there. And I kind of see it in our group chat that everyone's excited for this, and if you watch the episode last Tuesday or whatever day it was, when I was at the tap house with Pure Entry, we shot live from the tap house. We talked on there, and it's every band is connected in a way. And it is
Mhm.
so crazy
Yes.
that Royals have played with Omerta, Royals have played with Ashley Arson as Pure Entry, Pure Entry's played with Valley Narrow, Valley Narrow's played with Ledwin, Ronnie
Yeah.
Ladderbrook's played with Ashley Arson. In some way, one way or another, we are all connected to each other, and
Hmm.
when this all came about, and just kind of talking about the idea of it, I remember teasing it. I remember teasing a festival on Facebook, and then there's this one special night at the tap house, and there were so many great musicians there. I'm pretty sure you were there too, but there were so many
I
great
think everyone was there. I
musicians.
think I know what night you're
I
talking about.
swear, every band there that is at Summerfest had at least one member there,
Yeah.
and I just remember standing in the circle and just looking around like, these are the bands. These are all my favorite bands, and we are going to play all the same stage one day. And this is how it goes.
I
And
love that. Yeah.
yeah, and you know what? It's Eric Isfell's birthday on Friday. It's my
Right.
birthday on
Yeah.
Sunday, and we figure we're just going to meet in the middle, and
There
it's
you
going to
go.
be a great weekend. And
Perfect.
yeah, we're so excited. Everyone's excited to see each other play. We're all going to have some merch there. Hopefully, Exomerta, you guys going to have merch?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. There's merch
Yep.
there, but we're all going to have
Nice.
some merch there.
Nice.
We're gonna raise some money for some stuff to the School of Rock. We're all going to
Yeah.
sign this poster. We're going to raffle the poster off. And
Excellent.
then there's 50/50s. Money's going to help Loud Awards do their thing, which, I know the nominations are coming out soon. Correct, Ruth?
Mhm.
The nominations are coming out soon. And it's just going to be a great night. We're gonna help the School of Rock get on their trip out east. I believe they're going. But you know what? And we're all going to have a great time. We're going to pack that place.
Absolutely.
I want to line up outside, and they say you can't come in because we're full right now.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Yeah.
And then I want those people
Yeah.
to get in eventually, though.
Of course.
Yeah. Listen from the sidewalk so you can get in. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It'll be a historic night, that's for sure.
That's absolutely right. Last thing, Dale. Hey, are the suspenders making a comeback? We mentioned suspenders earlier. When were they making a comeback here?
The suspenders aren't, but
Ah,
there will be a lot of visual nods, a lot of things that people are, I'm sure they're used to seeing.
oh, that's awesome. Are you guys working on some new merch as well, or is there any new merch coming out?
Not at the moment, but that's gonna have to happen and coincide with
Yeah,
the rest of the second album for all the visual content stuff. So that's kind of all next up on the docket.
it's in the works. It's in the
Yeah,
works.
yeah,
Awesome.
Amazing.
hell
Awesome. Well,
yeah.
thanks for joining us here, Dale. Really appreciate it. We'll see you. I don't know if you're joining us again on Wednesday, but we got the Royals here on Wednesday. We got a big day Monday as well. So lots
Right.
going on this week.
Yeah, well, hopefully I will be able to, and if not, we'll make this happen on Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
You'll be there Saturday either way.
Yep.
Great.
Well,
Cool.
thanks a lot again for having me, guys.
That's fun.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Right on.
All
Okay,
right.
Dale.
Awesome. Take
We'll
care.
check you guys later.
Later.
You bet.